Hello everybody, thanks for watching the video. I want to start out the video by saying, the things I'm going to talk about are things that we know as of today, and at least how we've interpreted things in this new Small Business Act. And this is with communication with bankers and attorneys and people who are studying this. We're trying to gather as much information as we can. We continue to get guidance on this, so things are changing rapidly. So something I tell you tonight may not necessarily, there may be a different interpretation of that in a couple of days. And that's just how things are going with this new CARES Act. And as we continue to get guidance, and we don't have it all yet. I mean, they're going to be. I'll tell you once or twice in this video that we don't know, because there's some things we still don't know, and we can't determine based on what's been written. So, just that's a little forewarning as you watch this. I'm gonna try to be pretty quick, but most of you by now have heard about the CARES Act, and the biggest program that everyone's talking about out of here is the Paycheck Protection Loan Program, PPP for short. I'm sure you've heard people discuss that, talk about it, may have seen it on the news, read about it in the newspaper, and it's been a really hot item. If you look at the statistics, an overwhelming number of businesses are applying for this loan. And the biggest reason why is, well, number one, assistance is probably going to be needed. We're going through a pretty tough time in the economy at the moment. But also the biggest kind of carrot that's dangling out there is that this loan program, there's a good chance that a portion, if not all of the loan, will be forgiven that you receive. So that has made this obviously a very popular program. So it was passed as part of the CARES Act back in late March in direct answer to our economic troubles that are here and are coming due to the coronavirus. And so this is something that's been much debated. Lots of discussion about how this is supposed to be handled. Banks have, I feel sorry for bankers. They've been caught in the middle of this between the SBA and the businesses and the CPAs and attorneys who are trying to assist their clients in getting this loan. And they don't have all the information, and things have been changing rapidly for them, and I know it's frustrating. So, we're all doing the best we can do. So all I'm trying to do is give you a little bit of information. If you're self-employed, this is your time, right? So last Friday, applications started rolling in. We're starting to be processed for traditional businesses with payroll. This Friday is when applications will begin to be processed for self-employed individuals. So I want to give you just a brief overview of what it is, how to calculate the potential loan amount, and then discuss a couple of things at the very end. Again, the PPP program passed as a modification in a couple of portions of the SBA Act. And it's a loan, again, to assist businesses and to continue to pay their employees is what it was set up to do. The calculation for traditional businesses is fairly simple and straightforward. Well, we thought it was pretty simple, but there's been much discussion and ballyhoo about what was right and what was wrong. So there you go. Self-employed, not as easy. Self-employed individuals, the calculation is not as simple on the surface, but I think once we're getting a little bit more discussion about it as Friday's the day. So again, we don't have all the information, but what we have, we're attempting to make some good understanding and of what the Act tells us. So for an individual employee, that'd be a self-employed person, independent contractor, maybe a partner in a partnership that gets self-employed income from the partnership that flows through from the partnership, like a guaranteed payment or just the income that flows through, you all are going to be eligible for this loan. Again, the applications will begin to be processed on Friday. So the basic calculation, again, is we need to figure out what the average monthly payroll, this is all about payroll costs, so what the average monthly payroll is. And the best I think we can glean from this for a self-employed individual is what their average monthly self-employed income is. And to do that, you take your self-employment income, which is reported to the IRS on a Schedule C most often. Sometimes a Schedule E for flow through from a partnership or something to that effect. So we take that, it flows over to a Schedule SE for self-employed income to calculate the self-employment tax on your tax return. So that's the number that the banks are going to be looking for. And so we take that number for the year, and right now we believe they're going to accept the 2019 tax return if it's completed. And if it's not completed, some sort of P&L from your business for 2019. And they're going to take that bottom line self-employment income, and that's your annual income. It's capped at $100,000. That's just part of the act. They cap that wage for payroll cost, or in this case, the self-employment income, at $100,000. There are a couple other costs that get added in there as far as health insurance premiums and retirement contributions that the business makes on behalf of the employee, or in this case, the self-employed person. So that gets added into this calculation. We take that total number, divide it by 12 to come up with the average monthly cost. Then once you have your average monthly cost, you multiply that by 2.5, and that is the amount of the eligible loan. So for instance, if you're a self-employed person who makes $100,000 or more, no health care, no retirement, that's going to get capped at $100,000. You're going to divide that by 12, which comes to $8,000 and change. Multiply that by 2.5, and there you have it. That's the eligible a little over $20,000 will be the amount of loan that you're eligible to receive. So that's how you calculate the total amount. As I said at the beginning, what makes this the carrot out there is that a portion or all of this could be forgiven, and that's the big unknown at the moment. I have not found, and in talking with multitude of people, CPAs, attorneys, bankers, no one can really tell me how the forgiveness is going to be calculated for a self-employed individual. I'm sorry, we just don't know right now. So kind of our advice is to apply for this loan, and then let's figure out the forgiveness portion once we get the loan, because we're hoping that within the next week or two, we're going to get some additional guidance on how that would be accomplished. Can't tell you today because we don't know, but within a couple of weeks, I'm hoping that we know how to get that forgiven. So again, that's the carrot. We want it forgiven. We'll figure that out, but let's get the loan first. Whatever is not forgiven, whatever portion is not forgiven, continues to be a loan that is owed by you to the financial institution that lends it to you. That will be a 2-year term note that will have a 1% interest rate. And so that's how it'll be paid back if it's a loan. So my advice is today, or I guess this is late on Wednesday when you're receiving this, on Thursday if you're watching this, the first thing you should do is go ahead and contact your banker if you have not. Call your bank, the person that you deal with there, and find out if most of the big banks are taking or funding these loans. So, start getting the information from them. There's a loan application out there on the SBA website that you can pull directly from the website, and we can start completing that. It's a really simple two-page loan application. You figure out this amount the exercise I just went through, and then once that's calculated, the rest of it is the business information, and then a handful of yes or no questions. If you're a felon, if you've been disbarred or if you've defaulted on an SBA loan, you're not going to be able to get this loan. So it's those types of yes and no questions. And then you have to certify a handful of things with that application. So you do that, and then you submit it to your banker, and then sit back and wait. And I have not been told of anybody be funded with this yet here, any of our clients, but it should be pretty quick. I think it's going to come, they say they want to get it done within a few days, so we'll see how that goes. But again, that's the program, subject to change as we get additional guidance, but that's your step right now. And as soon as we get the guidance on how this can be forgiven, I'll come back to you with another video to try to help explain that. So thanks for taking the time. You can subscribe to the channel because we're going to be putting out different videos as we get through this process, and then as we continue on and get new tax issues and new tax laws and things, we'll come back and explain those to you as best we can. So thanks for taking your time to watch this, and if you have questions, feel free to call us or email us, and we'll be happy to visit with you about it. Thank you.